answer those.
Why bypass the House Education Committee?
A couple of reasons. One is the House Education Committee has 19 members on it. There's many of those members are either engaged in some other committee. There's a number of other summer committees where they've committed their time to. Some of those folks are have other personal commitments, or frankly, there's some that are heavily involved in campaigns. What we believed in talking with Representative Thompson, and he and I have been talking about this for, I guess, 5 or 6 weeks now, about the process and the detail, was essentially to start clean with a new discussion. And without some of the contest that's happened over the last year and a half. I think and so we, by the way, won't have all of the same members of the Rules Committee on that. We're going to try to bring in some folks from the Education Committee and other folks in the House who've been interested in that. But I will be chairing the committee, and Representative Thompson will also be serving on the committee for this purpose of these hearings on House Bill 597.
So is it a new committee, or you're going to do some substitution?
There will not be a new committee. This is the Rules Committee that currently exists, and some of the members will be changed. I assume, I shouldn't say I assume, it may be that the Democrats also may choose different members. This is a committee with 7 Republicans and 4 Democrats. So, but obviously that would be up to them.
Why now? Why? This is a process that's been underway now for what, 4 years or so. So why all of a sudden is it now time to make a move?
Yeah, it was a great question. I don't think that there's an issue, at least since I've been done with the severance tax, that I've heard more about in the past 2 to 3 months than this issue. And I think many folks in our caucus have, and you can step in here anytime you want, Andy. If you'd rather have Andy answer the question, let me know. But I think most folks in our caucus, either because of folks who in their districts who have contacted them, or because of in their campaigns they're being asked by folks in this room or your other local reporters, have been asked, hey, the full House, the caucus, has never really had a chance to talk about this. There have not. I think there have been 2 hearings in the Education Committee on this, so there hasn't been a lot of testimony. There hasn't been a lot of other things presented. So a lot of members of our caucus really don't know. You can obviously the media supplies some information. There are other folks who supply information. But I think if we have, frankly, 15 to 20 hours worth of testimony to members of our caucus, we're going to be better educated, and we can be clear as a caucus, or certainly as the members of this caucus, where we stand. And I think Speaker Batchelder wanted to make clear, and to the extent that it makes a difference, what I want to make clear, that the leadership in the House supports the repeal of these Common Core standards with the substitution for high standards and getting the federal government out of the business of education in Ohio. So,
and if I could add to that, when you talk about that 4-year process, it was a 4-year process that a lot of people in Ohio were not aware of. And even I, sitting on the Education Committee for the last 3 to 4 years, didn't hear a lot about it. You don't see things labeled as Common Core, even in bills that come up in committee. And I heard about it initially from somebody in my district. She was a school teacher, not of my party, so you know that this is a bipartisan concern. It's not just one side is interested in this. I had union teachers calling, sending me emails from Stark County and elsewhere saying, we need to do something about this, but I'm afraid to speak up. I've had people say that they were threatened with the loss of their job if they spoke up as teachers, 3 of them in Tuscarawas County, one single county alone. So there's been kind of a climate of concern, fear, some cases intimidation. But the public has understood this. The public has gotten this. And so in a way that maybe sometimes people who've been in the education business forever may not appreciate, when a kid brings home a math book and the parent, who is an engineer, can't figure out what the heck the teacher is wanting from that kid, that's a little confusing. That's a concern. These are not just urban myths that people have come up with, because I've had this story repeated to me multiple times. Even Representative Sprague said his kid brought home some math, and he was just kind of overwhelmed by it. So what happens is you got a 4-year rollout, but then you've got a time when it actually impacts people. And now they're seeing the results of the standards and the associated curriculum all of which was done in kind of this, closed circuit. So it was all ready to roll out upon people without any real ability for them to react. I know the Gates Foundation has spent over $100 million on this thing. The federal government has spent tens of millions of dollars on this. And so a lot of folks weren't at the table. We are now. We have heard the people of Ohio, the citizens of Ohio, the teachers of Ohio, and superintendents, school board members. And also other states are taking action. And I think that raises the profile, whether it's Indiana, North Carolina, Oklahoma. There's been action in Missouri, South Carolina as well. Governor Nikki Haley, Governor Scott Walker says he wants to get rid of the Common Core standards. So there's been momentum at the national level, but also in Ohio. And as you know, Ohio matters a lot to the nation. Probably the reason why so much money has been invested in promoting the Common Core standards here.